My name is Liko. I came to Indigo Academy in the Kanto region, hoping to learn more about myself.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our Paws On Netflix segment.
Today we're covering our thoughts on the first few episodes of Pokemon Horizons.
Yes, and this series is the start of the new era of Pokemon after Ash's departure from the anime, originally starting April 14th of 2023. Now, Horizons focuses on Liko, a girl who's just started school to learn to train and raise Pokemon, but when a mysterious guy is looking for her and her family heirloom locket, a new adventure begins. Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, and before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click on future podcasts and Pause videos.
Thank you so much for joining us and for subscribing. We appreciate you so much, and thank you for your support.
Yeah,
you're awesome.
So yeah, we took a while to get to this because there was no way for us to see it here until it arrived on Netflix, much like all of the Journeys seasons of the other Pokemon show.
Definitely, and I said Castle in the Sky because as soon as we began watching it and seeing these things happen, that's the first thing you think of. And one of the first things Rascal said when we started watching is, why is this looking like giving Studio Ghibli vibes?
Yeah, there was that, there was Howl's Moving Castle, there was more of the ones that do be in the air, and that's more of the feel it had going throughout rather than Pokemon. And I'm sure some are going to say, well, I like the Ghibli feel of it, great, but none of the other seasons had that. Maybe they wanted to try something new.
Well, they stated that unlike previous series that featured Ash, of course, that this particular one has the two protagonists, Liko and Roy, teaming up with the Rising Volt Tacklers. It's a group of adventurers who really do replace, they're pirates who explore the Pokemon world, and they visit various regions, including the Paldea region, which was introduced in Scarlet and Violet.
Right, so this is a new place, just not in the animes from the games.
And as they do, they're pursued by the explorers, the new
Pokemon team.
The new Team Rocket.
And the new Team Rocket, yep.
And they're supposed to be a mysterious organization, and they're not. They've got the guy that I said a while ago looks like Todoroki, and James had a baby.
Oh,
and he's kind of creepy and uninteresting once you start watching. When you first see the picture, you think maybe this will be something different, but it kind of isn't in terms of having this group. It's just another version of Team Rocket, more sinister, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Kind of like they were in season 14 or season 15.
Because you have a point where one of them...
Season 15 they were,
I think 14? 15? Yeah, 14. It was 14. And it goes so far as to one of the characters that's the female of the group, and when she starts taking care of one of the Pokemon that they take for a ransom, she starts buying with it and having fun with it and just gushing over how cute it is. And immediately you start thinking of Jessie. So yeah, they did actually start trying to put in little elements of Team Rocket to this new team. However, none of them so far have been memorable enough to go, oh my gosh, I love them. They're just straight up bad guys, and that's it. I guess they don't have another outcome of that, of people loving the villains as much as the heroes.
Now this had a total of 43 episodes. So far Netflix has released 12, and so far we have watched
4 to 5.
Yes. And I just want to point out that to make sure that this particular series is different, the credits are different, you have the music composer is different. You have Naosuke Uchida and Akane Yamago replacing Ryoko Nashimoto as sound editor. You have Besatu Korokoro Comic and Kokushu Yoshien are no longer credited as publishers, and Junichi Masuda and Ken Sugimori are no longer credited as creators.
Nope. It seems like this one went so far into the new direction, new era Pokemon, it's treated now as an entirely new series separated from past seasons. It's no longer saying season 20-something. It is now its own thing separate from Ash. So this is now officially a season 1.
Yes, definitely. I think for me, there are things that work and there are things that don't work. And we just want you to know we're not judging this based on Ash and our love of Ash. we're judging it on the Pokemon franchise as a whole, including every miniseries we've seen, every movie we've seen, every episode of Ash's Pokemon, and including Pokemon Concierge, and others we've seen. So and Paths of the Peak.
Right.
So we're taking this on a complete and total judgment, I guess the way to put it, when we say these things.
Right.
So the animation is nice.
Yeah.
But it does not give you Pokemon when you look at it. It's not vibrant. It doesn't have like those primary colors that scream out at you.
Right.
It's more like a watercolor, softer type palette.
Yes.
And maybe that was the point, since they wanted to make something different. And they also don't have all of the same Pokemon. Some are here, but the Liko has an olive Pokemon.
Yes, Sprigato, I think. And this was also part of the Scarlet and Violet video games at the time when they were showing the 3 new starter Pokemon. They were trending online for a while, and Sprigato seemed to be the favorite. I like for me, I like Fuecoco the most. He was just adorable to me. But Sprigato seemed to be the favorite one out of the starter ones because it looked the most like a cat. So, ironically, they chose that for Liko to be her starter. And yes, a little bit like Ash, it doesn't like her at first, and she has to learn to get along with it and should form a bond with it so it trusts her enough to train. And really the first 2 episodes are just as we explained. They don't start off heavy with the action or anything. It really starts off almost like a slice of life, to the point where they don't even show practice battles much on screen. It's really toned down, it's really calm. And my guess is they're going to save this up for later when they have their high action.
Now, one thing we did actually like that was different, because we always said Ash doesn't go to school. Well, here she goes to school.
Yeah.
And she's in a dorm with a bunch of other kids. And so that was actually something a little different that we did like.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how a trainer, or someone who's trying to be a trainer, or learning to be a trainer, or training to be a trainer,
Right.
does going to school and doing the practicing and challenges on the side. So
Right.
that was something different that we thought was refreshing,
Right.
and good to add to the new series. And that's kind of where the things stop for us and what we find positive. And again, we're judging this on a whole. It doesn't feel like Pokemon. You've seen so many different versions of Pokemon, including Twilight Wings, which is excellent. It just doesn't feel like Pokemon. And before someone says, well, are you saying because it's a girl, it has nothing to do with it. This is actually the first time I've mentioned her being a girl. We're not looking at it that way. We're looking at it as a Pokemon series on the whole. And, trainers and the pairing up and the things that you expect from the franchise. It doesn't feel like Pokemon. It doesn't have that pacing like Pokemon.
Right.
And there are things in here that happen that you kind of don't understand why it happens. Before we get to that, let's mention that she ends up teaming up by the 4th episode with Roy.
Yeah.
And Roy is just another version of Go. Or Rascal said like Ash and Go had a baby.
Yeah, and
there
it
seems
was
to be a lot of that in here.
Right, and it was the weirdest thing because the whole thing was to step away from Ash and Go and these characters you've known all these years for something new. Well, it's a little difficult to do that sometimes when we're already paying homage to these other characters and using their likeness to make these new characters, and they just left them last year.
Including Captain Pikachu.
Yes.
It's like if you don't want people thinking of Ash, why would you put any version of a Pikachu in here?
Right, because that's owned by another Pokemon trainer, part of the Travelers. And what's hilarious is that we had mentioned pretty much the entire staff and crew got overhauled for this new show. Nobody from the original is in here, not even the narrator. However, they even changed out, they have a new narrator in here, and Liko narrates some of the story herself, which is confusing on whose perspective the story is going for. But then they get to this guy coming in, and he looks like a cross between Hawks and Leon. And then you hear the voice, and it's okay if I'm wrong about this. Please tell me the real name below. It sounds like it's the narrator from the original series. And it's really odd because now the voice doesn't fit because the voice is too loud and it's too booming and loud for this character. I guess he's supposed to be cool, but he doesn't have the presence where he's supposed to take over a room or anything. It's like he's got this loud voice announcing everything, and he's just a normal character. Right, if maybe he's present Mike, yeah, because it was weird seeing this character, and all I could hear was the next thing come out of his mouth, oh, we'll go find this as the journey continues. That's all I was expecting him to say, because his voice was too much sound like a narrator. He's done it so long, that's what he sounds like.
Now, another thing I found quite disturbing in here that happens is Liko is confronted by
the mysterious man, we'll just say, if you don't know his name, because
Todoroki James
confusion, yeah.
And she doesn't alert anyone, she doesn't yell for anyone, she doesn't call for anyone. He tells her to come with him, and she does. So that was the first disturbing thing, that she didn't even try to get the attention of an adult or anything. She just goes.
Yeah.
Then secondly, she ends up meeting with the explorers. The rising boat tacklers.
Little tackler,
who save her. And then they tell her, come with us. And yet again, she doesn't try to go back to the school.
Yeah.
She doesn't try to get with an adult. She doesn't try to tell anyone that someone's trying to, okay, I'll go with you. It's like, what are you teaching these kids in the series? Why is she just going with strangers and being talked into doing things she shouldn't do? I found that very disturbing because no other trainer, no other character in any version of a Pokemon series, yes, including Ash or a movie, was dumb enough to do anything like that. But this girl, they present her as being very, you can trick her, you can convince her to do things. She has no self-confidence, and you can say she's going to go into a troop. But my point is, in the beginning, you have her so unconfident, so mousy, that she goes with adult strangers.
Yeah.
And she doesn't try to get help. And even when she's rescued, she just goes on a journey with them. She's supposed to be in school, and the adults don't know where she is, and her parents don't know where she is. It's not like hey, I'm going out on a journey. I'm going on a Pokemon journey. I'm leaving home. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Her parents think she's at school. The staff thinks she's in her freaking bedroom. And then I'm sure the next day they woke up and she's gone.
Yeah, and they had to contact her like, oh, well, she can just do the studies over the computer, the Pokédex. So they ended up using some real life things in here. They're referencing when, during the event, people had to do the online courses, all their courses at home with Zoom, and everyone had to do their classes like that. Well, now that's become the alternative now for Pokemon. If none of these kids go to school, they literally just take a few steps from the house, sit down outside, and then they have their Pokemon course online. And you don't even get to see what that entails or what they do, because they think, it's over. They fast forward when it's finished. You don't know if they train the Pokemon at home and they get classes over the Pokédex and it's online, or do they just learn and they watch and then they do things afterwards. They incorporate something in real life into the show, but don't explain how it works. If you're gonna incorporate the Zoom thing into Pokemon, at least know how to use it. It's just that, well, this is how they're at school now in the Pokemon world if you don't go to boarding school, and no other explanation but that.
So, yeah, I find that disturbing that she didn't try to get help, and she just went with strangers, and I'm not sure what it is they're trying to convey, but it's not a positive message.
No.
So you've got the dub version that is actually on Netflix, and I don't even recall if they give credit to the English dub cast when we were watching it.
Really? Well, they do, but we don't know who's who. They just list their names, and then that's it. They don't match them up.
Well, I can tell you a few. One person that voices Liko is Alejandra Reynoso, and she actually made a post that appeared on Ryan Colt Levy's page that she's not only Liko, but all of Pokemon characters. She voices all of them. And Anjali Panani, is Roy. Crispin Freeman is Frida. You have Faye Mata as Dot, and Damon Mills is Amethyl. And I don't know who the others are. I think Kura Buckland is Sprigatito.
Yeah, Sprigatito.
You mentioned. And the Fuecoco, which is hilarious, is voiced by Zeno Robinson.
Of
we
all
said they might as well have
characters.
kept and let him voice Roy.
It's like, what? Yeah.
So, this is the voice dub cast we know about. And hopefully we'll get to hear more of them and get more of appreciation, because as you mentioned, the first 4 episodes we're just getting a feel for. So these are our first impressions. Another thing I want to mention, and I'm not embarrassed to say, 2 things. You're used to, from the Pokemon franchise, excitement. Exciting music, great openings, great outros, and images for the intro. Well, here they went with a bunch of still pictures. They went cheap as heck. They didn't want to animate an opening.
Oh, boy.
And then the music is generic.
Somehow. And we, of course, didn't like every single opening from the original Pokemon. They had a few that were just... Yeah. We had a few that were like, didn't really care for that one. Oh, well. This one was better. This one was great. This one was okay. We've had a different range of opinions on all the openings. Here, the opening is so short, I didn't even know it was an opening. Then the outro, as you said, is nothing. It's really not much. I guess you don't get distracted or something. It's really odd.
It's really disappointing. Captain Pikachu is absolutely voiced by Ikue Otani. And she voiced Ash in... She voiced Pikachu's Ash. I mean, Ash is Pikachu, duh. And she voices Tony Chopper in Japanese.
Yes.
So, the voice actor for Pikachu continues as Captain Pikachu.
Yes, so at least they kept that going.
But I was hoping for something. They said it was going to be different. And I wanted it to be different in a good way. I really wanted this to be something we could get into. I really wanted to like this series. We tried to stay away from all the toxicity online, people and their opinions, and how they felt about, a different trainer and a different voyage and so forth. We wanted to be fair. But so far, 4 to 5 episodes in, I'm not pleased with this series. I'm not enjoying it as I hoped I would. And the story is not captivating. So we're going to finish all 12 episodes and then see, do we even want to continue on to finish the entire 43. I hope it picks up. I hope it's just getting a slow start.
Right.
I really hope so, because I would hate for this to be the thing that after 25 years of Pokemon, this is the thing that they end up being remembered for, and it doesn't end up being good. That would be a shame. It would absolutely be so sad for the Pokemon Company to give quality all these years and then shortchange fans.
Yeah.
I hope the opening changes later. I hope the theme music changes later. But right now, none of it's hitting.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I'm not going to say or blame it on the voice actors. They can only do what they've given and written.
Right.
Voice cast is fine. Voice cast sounds good.
Definitely.
But there are just things that could be much better, and hopefully, as we continue to watch this series through the first 12 episodes, they will get better.
Right.
So if you've seen Pokemon Horizons, the series, episodes 1 through 12 on Netflix, or the entire series, by other means, let us know in the comments. Do you like it? Do you think it fits the franchise image? Do you think it could be better? Do you see a difference in the writing and the content, the opening and outros, as we mentioned? Let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, in America, you can only see it on Netflix, and they're not giving you the whole series, only releasing, it looks like section by section.
Yeah.
So we get 1 through 12 now, watch it, come back and tell us what you think.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and reviews of anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And feel free to share this on your community tab of social media. It really helps us out. And if you want to tell us some points that we're missing about this particular series that maybe we don't know about, feel free to let us know in the comments.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Masculine Entertainment
And Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.